Welcome to the Mac Reality Check. You founded this awesome site, bofu.ai. I want to know, how did you take that journey from a mere marketer to tech entrepreneur? How does somebody make that shift?
It it's not a linear journey, right? It's very up and down, and
Mm.
you take one step forward and four steps back, and you're in loops and all types of stuff. But I think the transition from pure consultative standpoint to product was productizing my knowledge, because productizing my knowledge helped me to be able to run different clients through the same exact system because they all came in with the same problems, same sales calls. So if I'm starting to hear the same thing from everybody, I'm on to something. Then I would just run everybody through the same process over and over, and we would get good results. And I was like, what if I turn this productized knowledge into a product? I wonder, is this how SaaS companies start? I wonder, is this the thing? And that's partially the thing, partially.
Sure.
As I got deeper into the SaaS world, I'm finding some stuff that I didn't know too much about before. And it's all interesting. But yeah, I think that was the spark of everything, productizing that knowledge and creating a repeatable process.
So,
It was a very natural, this feels like a product. 'Cause I had built everything in Notion,
mm,
no code, low code type of thing. You can drag and drop things around. And I'm like, oh, okay, feel a little bossy in here, right? So I was just putting things together and then matching things up. I was like, okay, this is fun. After a little while, I got so excited about the software thing that I started to convolute my messaging. And that's not good for business, right? Like when you
mm,
don't have clear messaging and positioning. But I knew I had this idea where I'm like, it's a product, but it's also a service. So how do I market it as both? How do I position it as both? I wasn't necessarily a SaaS product at the time. I was a service with a software kind of attached
mhm.
to it. So I kind of should have led with the service part and keep the software piece on the back end. And that's how I execute. So I had to learn that the very hard way. But there's a difference in positioning there, and it gets very tricky because those things can overlap quite a bit. Because even now with Bofu,
Right.
I still consult. That's still my primary vehicle. But the thing is, I consult within my own tool, mainly because I couldn't find another tool that could do what I wanted to do.
We're all lost on that tofu stuff. Mofu, talk about whatever that is. But the bottom, that's hitting the ground. Why did you decide to go there?
But it's like at the end of the rainbow, if they know, like, I'm going to start showing up in AI search because
Hmm.
of what we're doing. Now it just happens that AI search has taken a liking into bottom of funnel content for some reason. Luckily, I've been waiting for this moment for 3 years now because I positioned myself around Bofu for 3 years. And I'm like, all right, now's my time to shine. It's my little lightning in a bottle moment, I feel like. So I'm like, all right, let me just try to like milk this thing out for as much as I can get away with. But yeah,
Build on this because I was thinking that what does it look like when someone engages you? When is the point where you introduce the software? Is there a sort of engagement model where you start and ask a bunch of questions and define their problem first or something like that before you get in?
sort of. I mean, they kind of know about the product from day one. Like, I'm like, hey, I've got this tool. I use my own tool to run these engagements because it's built how I want it to be built. First thing we do is go through like all their company artifacts. So it's like, give me your sales call transcripts, give me product documentation, give me anything you have that describes what the product is, what it does, and who it serves. We take it from there, and then we build sort of like these artifacts that we use to train the AI models on this company specifically. Now, what all the other tools were missing before was the feature and capability part. And this is the part I struggled with since consulting 3 years ago. I'm like, oh my gosh, like when I ask somebody for the features and capabilities of the product, they're always like, well, I got to talk to this person on the product team to go get it. And oh, let me reach out to this person to go get it. Nobody ever had what I needed when I needed it. So I was like, okay, if I built a tool to help me solve this problem, my dream tool would run through their product for them and pull out every feature and capability I needed to be able to write this bottom of funnel product led style content. So I was like, well, why not do that? It's funny and this is diving more to like software world, but it's funny because my biggest value proposition also became my biggest friction point. So I had to like navigate around that. But like to your point, yes, like day one, they know we're working in Lashay's tool. This is what we're gonna do. And it's interesting because it's almost kind of a customer acquisition method, if you will. I get to consult the people in the tool based on their feedback. I get to stress test what I have. So in the future, users come on board and they can self-serve and self-onboard and all that stuff. But it's really just, it's like, I don't know, it's like product iteration right now. Like it's me consulting them strategy level, but then they're giving me feedback about the product that I'm building,
What percentage of your consulting engagements are hard skills, meaning change this, change that, use these keywords, versus soft skills?
That's another really good question. I struggle with the soft skills in the beginning. I'm a very hard skills type of individual. Super, well, at least I used to be very super introverted. Didn't like to, which I still struggle with. It's just like I haven't posted on LinkedIn in 3 weeks. I'm like, I just want to. I mean, I would argue that soft skills sometimes might be more important than the hard skills, like in some circumstances, because it's like I don't know, when things aren't going right, like if you know how to effectively communicate that to the person that you're working with, it just keeps them very like level-headed, very patient. Like, we're going to figure this out together. I'm here to help you. And it's interesting because when I would work with these companies, I would have people ask me like, the content marketer is never like intimidated by you coming and telling them what to do. And I'm like, well, no, because I always make it clear that I'm not coming in to tell you what to do. Like we're working side by side. I don't make anybody feel like they're beneath me or I'm your boss, or I'm literally just coming in to help the team do this. I'm going to teach you some stuff while we work together. But it's being very like non-threatening. And especially with like the whole AI thing and how it's like just smashing marketers and developers, I feel like are like taking the blunt force of what's happening right now.
It's rough.
It's you just soft skills are like very, very important. Hard skills are important too, of course, but like that's I mean, it all improves through repetition, but it's just like soft skills is almost like an art. You just have to know when to say certain things and when not to say certain things and how to conduct yourself and things like that. And like, I don't know, I guess being a Black woman, it's even more tricky for me because if I get too aggressive, then I'm the mad Black woman. And if I'm too soft, then it's like, well, they're going to take advantage of that and kind of, so it's like, it's a very tricky middle ground with that. But I would argue in some cases, the soft skills are more important than the hard ones. And you just learn how to deal with that. Like dealing with so many different clients, like you just naturally start to pick up on, okay, if somebody's being an asshole, okay, here's how you deal with this. Just lay out client expectations, being more proactive than reactive, which is something I really had to like work on a lot because I'm just used to like being office hoodie up, just like coder straight, Tony Stark vibe, like just.
My early career, I cut my teeth on a marketing automation platform called Eloqua, which at the time was like known as like one of the hardest, most complicated marketing automation platforms ever. And I started there. I didn't start with HubSpot, which is known as the easiest one. I started with the hardest one and then went on. And the only reason I was able to be successful in that tool was because of the customer success manager, like guiding me through working through that platform and showing me where to go. Otherwise, there'd be no way. So it'd be like, I think there's always been an element, I think either to Lashay or Jake's point of like, it was software with services. That's how we were successful. That's how it started. Somewhere along the way it became too expensive and, it cost too much money and it became cumbersome and then they went away. But like, it always started.
But isn't it interesting that what they cut out of the service of the software was the service part? You know what I mean?
It costs money. I've said that I've told these companies for years you have to bake in services. It costs too much money.
It's the first one to go. If an agency leader came to you and said, we tried AI for content and it just produced garbage, what's usually the real diagnosis and what do they need to do to fix it?
You didn't give it enough context. People obsess over prompts instead of obsessing over how much context you give the thing that you're asking to write to your audience, it's like, you know how people say, oh, you took it out of context, or I don't have any context on that. What does that
They
mean?
do say
Like,
that a lot.
you know, it's like, well, if I have context, I'll know more about what to write about. It's the same with AI. And I think to divert just a little bit to talk about Jay's point when he
Yeah.
said, you know, it is a software, like it's not just something you vibe coded or put together. You know, it's years of experience and so on and so forth. And like, I could not agree more. I feel like the new way of monetizing with AI for people that want to build things is probably going to be putting your IP to these products or these agents, right? 'Cause AI is table stakes, right? It's extremely commoditized. Like everybody has access to it. But what makes it special is what you put into it. If I told somebody like, hey, I've got this AI agent that's trained up on everything I know about bottom of funnel content and it can help you run your strategy, I'm pretty sure somebody would pay for that. You know what I mean? So it's like to answer your question, you need to give it context on what it is you're asking it to do. The problem is most companies don't have context. They don't record their customer calls. They haven't been like keeping up with product documentation. Shit is all over the place. And I think like once you get the foundation right, then you can feed it to AI properly, and then you prompt it with context. You don't just say, hey, write me a blog post that's 1,500 words and it's about this thing. Of course you're going to get a piece of shit. Like you got to give it.
The style of Hemingway. That sounds like freaking
Right.
Waldo.
Wrong. Well, some people are, what they think is stuck in the past. I wonder, is it a technological literacy problem that holds people back, or is it a business literacy problem? Like, it might not be the content of technology, but the context of business. What do you think? If somebody wanted to focus on one, they're like, you got two axes, bro. Which one are you going to sharpen? Of course, you need to sharpen both. We're marketers. It depends. But what do you think? Do you think business literacy is the problem, or is technological illiteracy a problem?
Probably business literacy. Like the thing is, you can give two people the same tool.
I know.
The person who's business literate is actually going to make something happen with it versus the person. And I use this with an example with people all the time. I'm like, if you give two marketers AI, it's literally just going to show you who's the shittiest marketer the quickest. Like it does nothing but expose you. You know, so it's like there's a need for like business literacy, like in our world, marketing literacy, and then you layer AI on top of what you are literate at. Not try to do everything. And it's the reason Bofu is not positioned as an all-in-one platform and seamless integrations and a bunch of other buzzwords that I can't think of. But it's like, you know, it's like it does this one thing very, very well. We start with a beachhead segment. Boom, we target these companies. Then we spread out this way. But you don't start with everything, right? A new marketer would probably not know that. You know, they're just like, we have this feature, we have this capability. We need to talk about all of it on the website. When a more knowledgeable marketer would say something like, well, we have this really good thing that we're good at. Like, let's use that as the gateway to bring people in the door. Then when we bring people in the door, hey, we got this over here, we got that over there. But all of this connects to the thing that they originally came in on, right? So even what I'm doing with Bofu right now, like I'm going to switch platforms soon. I'm building an LLM visibility tool into the platform. And it's like, well, am I going to position myself as an LLM visibility tool? No. But when you get in it, you'll be like, damn, that's good, right? So it's like, it's just the nuances that you have to know before you get involved with, like, tech skills can be taught. There's millions of YouTube videos, millions of LinkedIn posts. Like, you can learn technical literacy. It takes years to learn marketing literacy and business literacy. There's some stuff you just need to know before you put your hands all in AI. I mean, because AI layers on top of what you do well already. It's not going to, I mean, well, it can create things from scratch, but your knowledge on top of it is where it's special. It's not special in isolation.
One person told me, like, instead of just jumping into like an AI prompt, like whatever thing you're trying to do, ask AI what it needs in order to help you do that. And when it comes back with the laundry list of stuff, you're like,
When you actually that's similar to the AI agent process. It's like easy but like if you're ready to answer 60 questions, it's easy. Yeah. But that's calibration. That's the initial setup. You're just like, I know it's going to hurt, but if you do a bit of work here, you're going to feel that benefit later. So I guess there's something about calibration expectation. Jess, you haven't mentioned anything. I mean, I wonder if you have some thoughts, around here, the BOFU, the AI, the jagged frontier, building in public, time, soft skills, hard skills. What?
It's all speaking to me, like I get it. I'm getting it. I feel like you're speaking to a lot of the issues that I deal with and then also we deal with in this group. I think that, Moni has a really cool tool that she has in a workbook, and we were talking about how to make it like a website where you're filling things in and then it completes it for you. And you've built that backwards. Like you've done it in like how Moni would do it internally for herself. She's created this static workbook, right? So you've done that, only you've made it like dynamic and using Notion, which is a great tool for that because it's Excel, but it's also, the way that it connects different pages, it's really cool. And I think it's a great way for you to work for your clients to make that internally, but by giving them access to either a light version or that it actually turns, like how we were talking about the seesaw of like software as a service versus service as a software. And it's really service, it's a vehicle is the product, right? Like
Literally, yeah.
how you're
Everything
delivering it,
rolls right
that
into
is
it.
the product.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So
Everything.
I find that
Think about it like this, right? So exactly as you said, every little thing somebody picks up on the journey to whether they become a client or a customer, whatever it is almost like my own version of artifacts. Like, so even what I give away for free, like the BOFU playbook or BOFU OS Lite, it's just literally my thinking documented and pulled apart down to its barest form. So it's like by the time you get to me, you're like, oh, I love your methodology. I can't believe it. This is amazing. Like you have to like educate people up until the point of purchase. A lot of, especially, and then people are always like, oh my God, you're so smart for doing bottom of funnel. It's untapped. Da, da, da. But it's like the flip side is that a lot of people don't know they need bottom of funnel. You have to literally educate them up until the point of purchase where they're like, oh, I do have that problem and I do have that problem. So it's like a longer path to purchase, but it's also my own little corner that I can dominate once I get them there,
I think what you have uncovered is the answer to an age-old question that we've all struggled with. Like the whole marketing community is like, oh, you need to do a sequence. We need to send 12 emails and then eventually they'll sign up. After email 1, you're annoyed. They're going to be salespeople calling you, trying to convince you. Give them a taste of what the possibility is that's going to give credibility to your idea. And then when that credibility comes around, then you talk to them about what a real engagement looks like, which is clearly not just change a little copy on your website. It has to be more than that. I'm sure it is. And I'll say at the Mac level, I think we could shepherd this change in. I don't know who's talking about this.
This is why this always happens when we have people on. We're like, why aren't we hanging out and doing things together? Because it couldn't be because it doesn't help people do their jobs better. I mean, goddamn, if you want to waste money, go ahead.
What's the ROI, Lashay, on giving away your software?
Oh, yeah.
That's what people are going to ask you, right? And like,
that's what they're
what is your answer?
So like, what's the why on giving it away?
No,
we know the why.
ROI. Oh.
Your ROI on giving away the software. Have you been able to track on your dashboard, how expensive it was to build the software and how
she already built it.
Huh?
She built it for herself.
Yeah, but just tracking along the way the whole time, you're just like, oh, that's a big. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's like effort out, effort in, output, input, calibration. They talk about this stuff, but they don't. It's right. How do you value that?
Man, like, it's been a wild ride. Like, I feel like you will quickly know if you're not built for this. Like, I've been in the red so many times trying to build this thing. I first had this idea in October of 2023. And I was like, okay, bofu.ai, that's when I got the domain. So when everybody's like, damn, how'd you get that domain? I'm like, dude, I had this domain for 2 years before I put anything on it, you know? But it's like, it's tricky. It's like sometimes you do have to go when you have a very strong vision, everything will look around you like you are not supposed to do it. Like, no, you will find no, it's not the best thing for me to spend 10 grand on this thing. The idea is in me for a reason. I'm like, all right, I'm definitely built for what I'm doing. If I wasn't, I would have quit a long time ago.
Right.
And now that I've been able to get it out into the world just a little bit, not even a whole lot, like just a little bit, and to see the feedback that people get from this thing. And I think something else too. One thing I learned by diving into the software world was a lot of software people or people that own products come from a development background, which makes sense. Like they're good at identifying patterns. Like, oh, I could build that and help this. But less people come from a practitioner background. Like, oh, I know the
Everywhere.
problems at a nuance level.
Yeah.
Let me like build that nuance into this tool to help other people do the thing like me. I think one of the powerful things about not just what I'm doing, but like if people start thinking this way in general, like me being my own ICP, like I know what they struggle with, you know, like I know how difficult it is to create content and how much they're being asked to do because now just get AI to do it. Like these are things a developer would not know. Even when I was on the phone with my CTO taking demo calls, and he was like, damn, like you just know how to answer every single question somebody asks, no matter how nuanced it is. And then I just had to think like, I think that's exactly why I should be doing what I'm doing. Because I do know the nuance. I know the nuances of the business. I know the struggles. I know the pain points. I know all this stuff. And I feel like I could cultivate a community of content marketers specifically. So we've got communities for social media marketers, got communities for B2B marketers in general over at Exit 5. But somebody I was talking to, she was like, where's the community for content marketers specifically? Like with what we go through. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense to me. But like, just, I don't know. I think more practitioners need to start building more products. So Moni, like even with what you have, like what you have in a workbook right now,
Yeah.
if you're able to take that and build something, maybe a little more dynamic, maybe like web app, whatever it is, like I think we need more practitioners, but I don't want to say becoming developers, but kind of like, and Claude Code gives us that ability to be able to say, okay, I'm going to take my nuanced thought process, I'm going to take my skills and my expertise and build a product. And you know it's going to be a banging ass product because it came from you, the practitioner, you know? So I just think I think there's something special about that. And if I could be on the forefront of that wave, for sure.
I don't want to hold on. I don't want to miss something Lashay said that's super important. That is the center of marketing, which is you understand nuance, you understand motivation, you understand the psychology. Modern marketers do not do that well. We hang on the surface. It's demographics,
Right.
and their industries, financial services, and their the cybersecurity engineers or whatever it is. We hang there. We don't get to the other layer, and that's why it's not as good.
Yes.
We swapped market research for data, so we assume that we have the data on the back end. And we assume that that's the work when the data's on the front end of asking people before you actually build it.
And that's hard
We don't
versus
do that.
soft
We
in
build it.
data. No, saying it's, I mean, no, I could go forever. I'm just saying, like, what Moni's talking about is hard versus soft, and what I love to talk about is like data is only as good as like who's asking, what are we asking them? Like if you're asking Google, yeah, who would want better compression socks, or like it doesn't give you the edge, right? It doesn't, you're going after things that seem general but don't match the positioning of your product, right? Because you haven't asked the specific questions based on that positioning, right?
That's right.
So that's what I'm
Yep.
saying is like the soft stuff is what actually moves the needle, right? Like that's your differentiation, that's your special sauce. That doesn't come within those numbers unless you're asking the specific. Oh, Jake,
I just because what you're saying right now, and let's say you were like, I'm not good with the soft skills. Get the hell, because what you've done is you hard coded soft awareness. Like I'm like, and that takes a very earnest and connected person. Like I'm just like, because what you said, another thing is like, I don't want practitioners to become developers, but that's cool. Most developers are not going to be able to ladder it up into practicing. But what I'm actually concerned with is neither of those people are about to have AI. You know, none of the practitioners, none of the developers, just some random motherfucker off the street. And I'm not saying I don't want you to live your dreams, but if you don't have some development nuance or fucking skills, I don't know if we should, because I was like, I'm an artist. I came from an arts background. And I remember in high school, I was like, the world would be better if everyone was artists. We all should be artists. And then like a couple years later, I was like, you hang out with enough artists and you're like, oh, and you know, and you're like, I don't think we need a world of all of us. Do we?
I think that's a definition problem, though. I think calling people an artist and gets your ego involved, and then you become something that is less or more of what an artist
And
can learn
don't-
or learn ed.
I mean, isn't it
Gotta be
interesting that
everything.
we're filming a podcast right now? We have no talent in filming podcast. Oh, Jake actually.
No,
does.
no, no.
Well, the schmucks are going to be around regardless.
They were
but
here
to your
before,
point-
weren't they?
Yeah, like, but to your point of like, okay, now that everybody has this power, now what? And I was reading this Substack that somebody sent me about Rick Rubin, about
Yes.
how he's able to like develop music, and the guy is like doesn't know how to play instruments, doesn't know how to do anything. But now it's like, since AI handles the how, now the what becomes important. Now the marketing becomes important.
Weird.
It's just shit is just switching. That's all. It's
Weird.
like you know.
Wow.
And it's like the people that have those marketing skills, now we get to shine, because it's like, well, and it's funny that even though everybody has access to the same thing, you will quickly see who's good and who's not.
What
It's
you
just,
said
again,
earlier,
if the
yeah.
AI handles the how, now the what becomes important. What are you selling? Who are you selling to? What is the positioning? What is the messaging? What is the value prop? It's the what that's important.
I think it's also cool how you did focus on like your framing with the BOFU, right? Because all of us have our own angles at the same goal, which is improving people's marketing, right? And improving their
Right.
sales and how they communicate those things. But what you had to do is frame it around like, how are we going to get these LLMs? How are we going to get all the inputs correct? How are we going to take the soft things, turn them into hard, feed them into something that is hard, right?
Yes.
And then use that as a vehicle to get back something soft, right? Which is the people's emotions and getting them to actually buy your product, right? So it's this balance of moving back from hard and soft. It's like science.
It's a
And
great
I
way
think
to put
that
it.
Yeah, that's a good
what does I mean, she does a lot of things well, but the thing that she's focused on with this workbook is like really identifying like who you are and why you're the person. Like it's kind of like a version. We all do a version of the same thing here. Like when I'm working with clients, when I get the chance to every
Yeah.
once in a while, I'll give them, if we're doing a graphic, it's like, why are you the person to do this? What do you want people to feel? And Moni has that in a blown out way because it's for everything, and then some of that information, like I love positioning. So I'm like, I started developing this tool kind of adjacent to Moni's, which is like, how do we push you up against your competitors, right? Like, how do we identify what is special about you, like within the context of the greater marketplace, but then also within like your niche, and
Yes.
and then by identifying that, you make it easier to plug into Lashay's tool, right? So it's like all these different steps. What you had to focus on is like, let's get to the meat. Like you have to have some sort of like knowledge of who you are, who your competitors are, whatever. But some people are like, we don't have competitors. We're the only like man in town,
Right.
like we rode in alone, and
I hear that
everyone's
a
gonna
lot.
That's
Oh,
how I
yeah.
was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
A lot.
that's a big one.
Our audience is
that's a rare
everybody.
story. Action, a little bit of tenacity to jump on, a URL, and then or after a while, you calibrate into this thing where you become the service that is the software, that is the AI, that is the output, that is the input, that is the bridge that brings the what and the why. I'm just like, it's kind of amazing that it comes from you knowing who you are. And when you have a great client, those are the people who know themselves. And when you got a bad client, these people don't know nothing. So, Lashay, give us, because we got to go, but give us advice for people. I don't know if it's an AI thing. I think it's a knowledge of self. I think you have to, what is your thought to these people, maybe not getting them hip on AI? Please go to bofu.ai, but how can people get hip on what they need internally? Because I think you have that.
Self-reflection, right? So like, I thought for a very long time my weaknesses were something bad. Because they're positioned to us our whole life. Well, you got strengths and then you have weaknesses. But I think the way I look at it is like, if you build around your weaknesses, that's when you get something really, really good. Because 9 times out of 10, you're a human. Other humans relate to other humans. If you're having this weakness or this issue, somebody else is having it too. And that's where an audience starts to accumulate around that idea. So it's like, think about your weaknesses and think about, okay, if I had to build something that make these a little less daunting, what would that look like? Because with the whole Bofu thing, like I wanted to work for an agency that specializes in Bofu, and I was like, I did not get the job, and it hurt me so fucking bad that I was like, you know what, fuck that. I'm gonna go do my own thing, and I'm gonna build what I wish they would have given me to get the job. And then that's when the first content marketing dashboard was born. It was born out of pain, not because I was kicking it and chilling. I was excited, like I was fucking hurt. So sometimes like your best ideas will come from painful problems. Like I think those are some of the best ideas.
Yeah.
So don't.
Wow. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, and it sucks when you're going through it, but now that I'm like out of that, I can look back and be like, okay, that's why I had to go through that. So don't beat yourself up about the things that you aren't good at. Build flows around the things that you aren't good at. That helps you get just a little bit better at that thing, and then you build from there. Yeah,
well, that's what we're doing here.
That's beautiful.
Mac, congratulations.
Oh my!
Absolutely. So there's a tool called Obsidian that I have downloaded not long ago. So what it does, it almost serves as a second brain for everything that you have, right? So I practice what I preach. I talked shit earlier about companies not having their stuff together. Like I've got my sales calls, I've got everything I need together. So I put it in this sort of brain. What I could do is take the transcript of this and put it in there and get Claude to say, hey, can you pull out the key points made in this podcast? Can you give me some ideas around this, that, and the third? Like you start to prompt the transcript, That's
right. And isn't that calibration, right? Isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
You're literally living your life. You're having experiences. You're being exposed to people that have worldviews that are complementary to yours. Sometimes they challenge you. Sometimes they're just aligned. And all I do, I have a running thing in Google Notebook LM of Mac meetings from like 2 years ago till now, and it just keeps on getting better and better and better. And our point of view is 100% clear, and it happens, when you notice what we're writing, it's a direct result of us calibrating together.
Oh,
Yes.
and that's where it comes from. That's why, Lashay, we needed to have you on here.
Yes.
We needed for you to share your heat with us. And if people want to connect with you online, how can they do that? How can they get in your world?
I'm on LinkedIn chronically. Well, at least it's not as much as I want to because I've been building stuff. But when I do get on there and I'm consistent, you'll get all the learnings that I just learned and everything like that. So LinkedIn for sure, Substack. I'm about to go very deep with Substack with some learnings.
Yay.
And that's where you get the real good stuff on Substack. Or just go to bofu.ai, right? Look around a little bit. Like it's a people ask me, well, what is bofu.ai? And it's tough to say what it is because it's a lot of things. Like it's education, it's consulting, it's software. It's a lot of different things. So like, feel free to go to the website, go down the rabbit hole and take a peek into this crazy brain.
Yes,
There we go.
we will. Thank
Cool.
you so much for being here.
Thank you. Such a pleasure.
Yay! Okay,
This is so much fun.
hit the stop button.